What is a situational interview? In this video, I'm going to cover what happens in a situational interview, what to avoid, and how to pass one. If you've seen my last few videos, you're probably noticing a theme, and yes, I'm covering the most common interview types with top tips on how to pass one and secure the job you want. I'm Amri Celeste, an interview coach and HR recruitment specialist with over 10 years hiring experience. And on this channel, I make videos to help you get hired and secure the job you want. I cover tough interview questions and answers and interview prep methods. So if you're job hunting, do like and subscribe. So first, what is a situational interview? A situational interview is an interview in which the questions are centered around how you respond, act, and think in certain types of situations, almost always at work. Those questions will normally be related to situations that are likely to occur in the job you're interviewing for. What is a situational interview question? So let's say you were interviewing for a retail job at a clothing store behind the counter. They might ask you a situational question like, can you give me an example of a time when you had to deal with multiple conflicting priorities? They want to see how you deal with times when you're busy. Maybe there's lots of customers and lots of things that need to be done all at the same time. So you would have conflicting priorities. Maybe a customer at the till, someone waiting for a refund, a long queue. Maybe you need to order a stock check. I have shared an example answer to this question in my conflicting priorities video, which I'll link in the description down below. Situational interview questions normally start with, can you tell me about a time when? Describe a time when. Give me an example of, or something similar. A few more examples of situational interview questions are questions like, tell me about a time when you failed. Tell me about a time when you disagreed with your boss. Tell me about a time when you had conflict at work and share examples. Give me an example of a time when you motivated others. So as you can see, some of the questions are really challenging, really tough interview questions. I have an entire video dedicated to the top 10 common situational interview questions and answers, and it includes answers to those questions that I just listed. So I'll link that in the description below for you. What not to do? There's two common mistakes that I see when candidates answer situational interview questions. The first is, it's actually quite funny, they forget to include a situation. So for example, they might say something like, this is what I would do in that situation. I would communicate with that person because communication is so important. Or this is what I would do. So they're saying, this is how I would deal with it, or this is what I would do. They're not actually giving a specific example of a time when they dealt with that situation. So you definitely want to avoid this if you're giving a situational example. The second mistake is when candidates focus solely on the situation that occurred and explain the events as they unfolded without a follow-up on key actions, what they learned, or the final outcome. Some interviewers will actually ask you to include those points, but some interviewers are not that thorough or helpful, and they won't ask you to include those points, but they will still expect you to include them, and they may choose another candidate over you who has included them if you forget. How to pass. Now, one of the things that can really boost your chances of getting an offer is using the STAR method, also known as the STAR technique. So I hinted at this a little bit earlier, but in your interview, whether situational or not, it will likely include situational interview questions. So even if your interview is behavioral or competency-based, and when your interviewer does ask you a situational question, they will want you to include in your answer the situation, the task, the action, and the result. This is what STAR stands for, and including these points means that you're using the STAR method. It's a brilliant tool to lean on because it gives your answer structure, and it also means that you're not talking for too long. It helps you to keep your answer concise, and it's also what the interviewers are looking for anyway, so it's highly effective all round. If you're looking for a job, then you'll need to know how to use the STAR method. I have a short video dedicated to this, and it includes an example answer showing you how to use it, so I'll link that in the description below this video. Now, I've said this in so many videos, but if you want to pass an interview, situational or otherwise, the key lies in the prep just as much as what you say in the interview. There's no way around it. Poor prep leaves your job offer down to luck and chance, and you want something a little bit more solid than that to boost your chances of getting a job offer. You need to, one, know the job description. For a situational interview, you need to pay attention to, of course, the essential skills, because of course they are essential. You need them to do the job, but even more so the duties, or sometimes it's labeled as key responsibilities, because the situational questions that you're asked in the interview will relate to the situations and challenges that will occur in the role. And how do you know what will be in the role? It's on the job description. So that will give you a key clue as to what some of the questions will be based around. You can also download my Ultimate Interview Prep Guide. I created it specifically as a solid playbook for how to prepare for your interview in a way that leaves an impact. It includes examples of top key skills you can give, the format you should be using to practice your interview, what to research, where you should be looking, and the questions that you really should be asking in your interview. It's totally free and you can download yours by following the link in the description below this video. The second thing you need to do is practice your answers. You need to speak them aloud because we hear our interview answers differently in our head. When we speak them aloud, we hear what our interviewers will hear, and 60% of the time or more, you will drastically change your answers. So you must practice speaking your answers. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, do like and subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll know when a new video is ready for you. See you in the next one.